Okay, here we go.
Yo,
Yeah. Hello, everybody. So, welcome to Music Monday here on Refine Productions. Super happy that we are on another go and rolling into a new week. And we are here to give you some fresh inspiration from one of the guys that's taking care of one of the labels that I fell in love with since ages. Edd Thomas, he's the A&R of AXTONE, and he'll join our chat in a second. He's already here, so I'm going to invite him directly, and then we'll take it from there. So it's going to be an exciting day, an exciting hour for us, and really looking forward to having him on board. So the great thing is we're doing something exciting. Ed, how you doing?
Eddie, what's going on, man? From
Good to
one
see
Ed
you.
to another, right?
From one Ed to another, exactly. That's how it is. So listen, before we start, so we are doing some sort of an experiment here, right here. So we are actually live on Instagram, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube now, and it's been a drainer. I mean, I've not been the most technical guy well it comes to electronics, but I think it should work. So but we are trying things out. If it didn't work, then yeah, we are at least live here on Instagram, right?
Yeah, I can see Instagram's
So
working. I can't see anything else,
yeah,
but then
yeah.
I'm not
So I
looking.
can.
So.
So first of all, thank you for joining us and showing a little bit of empathy and sharing a little bit of love to the people out there. So, and I'm super excited to have you on board.
I haven't shared
And
anything yet, so we'll have to see.
yeah, yeah, I know you will. I'll force you to share some
I haven't
empathy.
prepared anything. I haven't prepared anything, so I might, there might be some
No,
nuggets of
no,
gold. There might
there's
be
nothing
funny
to
nothing.
prepare. Yeah, there's nothing to prepare. We are just having the talk that I'm 100% sure that people will love.
Okay,
And
that sounds good.
yeah, well, I mean, we already had a little bit of Xtone before with Simon, who's the label manager of Xtone. Um,
Exactly, exactly.
so, and now we have you on board, which is absolutely amazing because you are taking care of A&Ring at Xtone, right? So,
Exactly, yeah. I mean, so just to like give some context, basically day to day, Axtone is run by or like managed by myself and Simon. But there is other people as well, of course. Like there's the owners, Axwell
yeah,
being one, obviously, and James as well, who owns the business with him. And yeah, but I mean, I guess the kind of me and Simon are a bit more forward facing, maybe you'd say. But yeah, like like plenty of crucial people to Axtone, and yeah, me and Simon just often the forward facing ones, it seems. But yeah, I guess I find myself more on the creative side, which is, I guess, what you're getting at in terms
yeah,
of the music and stuff.
yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm mostly in contact when I'm sending you stuff, then it's mostly you and Simon and X, that we send the music to. But I mean, yeah, I know there's more to it than just the people that mostly there's more people behind the scenes, and there's James, there's Bas, there's X, there's other people
Oh, some
involved in, well,
serious name
uh,
drops there. I like it.
yeah,
Lovely stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And shout out
So I'm
to the people at Rising Digital as well, MK and Gina. They're amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is it all needs to work hand in hand. So what the people need to know is if you say X-Tone, they know you, they know Simon, they know X, but there's so much more behind the scenes that's going on to get you to the place where you are to where you are now and keeping on that steady label. There must be some kind of magic liquid in your water that you are drinking at Xtone, because I mean there's never you've been how long does Xtone exist now?
It's it's going to be, well, it's 15 years, but it's going to be 16 quite soon, actually. So it's a long time for an independent label, and it's something we're super proud of because yeah, a lot of labels have come and gone in that time.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're super proud to have lasted that long. I've only been at Axtone. Well, I say only. I've been at Axtone for about I think it's 7 years when I first started. I mean, my job role then looked very different to what I'm doing now. But yeah, it's been about 7 years that I've been kind of involved in the company.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. I mean, I've known you from the beginning. Since you started there, we've known each other, not like personally, but we heard each other's names, and you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's always been there, you know. But yeah, and the great thing is, honestly, guys, it's I've worked with a lot of labels in the past as an artist, and I can definitely say that there's not one person involved that is not the most beautiful person. Not like from you
What are you
know,
trying to say
but
here?
yeah, well, I'm trying to say that you guys
You're gonna
are
ask me out on a
just like
date
the
or
most
something?
amazing people, you know. You are just like super friendly, very familiar, very personal, and there's not one person that I don't like. You know, so most of the time it's just like very unpersonal when you talk to bigger labels and stuff. Unless, I mean, there's just for me two labels in the world where I feel this, you know,
Yeah, I
which
mean,
is like,
look, I've been there for like 7 years, and everyone else has been there longer. And I
yeah,
think you can't do that unless you're friends with everyone, right? Like,
no,
we're
no,
more than
for
like
sure.
colleagues and a team. Like, we're all like really close, and I think that's like part of the key to big success. But you know, one of the main reasons that we've lasted so long as well. We love the music that is kind of at the core of it, and I guess that's probably the main reason that we're friends is because we share a passion for dance music and
That's it.
for a long time. It's pretty simple, I guess, when you think about it like that.
Yeah, well, I think that you named it. You know, passion is what it's all about. You can't do it without passion, and that's the same with music production as well. So yeah, and I absolutely love it. So it's great to see you guys still growing strong, doing your thing since ages. And
Yeah.
what is the secret behind it? Why is it in the meantime, since 15 years, there have been like hundreds of labels that popped up and were gone directly again. But you've been super steady in terms of releases and quality.
What's the secret? I mean, I don't know. There's not really like one thing. I mean, the easiest answer to that would be Axe. You know, he's managed to, as a DJ producer, he's managed to stay relevant for like, I don't know, more than 20 years, like way more,
Yeah.
which is amazing in this industry to like, you know, to pass through so many changes of trend and fashion, all those kind of things. And you know, he's evolved, but always done it in a very natural way. And he has a lot of kind of hardcore fans that like really appreciate that. You know, he started off doing the kind of Mambana stuff, or at least that was the first time I heard of him.
Hmm.
Super housey, the kind of sulfuric house stuff, which is awesome. And he kind of went from there, you know, doing more housey stuff. And then as like EDM exploded, he kind of like blended his sound into that. And, you know, Swedish House Mafia kind of started naturally. And it kind of, yeah, it's the rest is history really in terms of that. But like Axe is, yeah, he's the secret ingredient, I think. You know, we all work super hard here and we're super passionate, but like the core is the music that people love. And that's completely invaluable. So yeah, I guess secret ingredients Axe. That's my lazy answer, really. But I mean, I'm not going to say it's us or like following trends or not following trends. It's just Axe's instinct, and that's always kind of given us the edge and has really led the label in terms of the sound.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of simple as that.
Yeah.
AXTONE, Axwell. That's the secret ingredient. It's right there.
Yeah. Well, you know, sometimes with the releases that you've done in the past, people were like, what is that now? You know, a kind of release that's super unexpected in a musical way, you know, that nobody expected from Xtone, for example, you know, but that's, I think, and that in the end worked out as a absolute new starting point for a direction for Xtone, for example, you know. I mean, you've also released one of the first Camel Fat singles.
Yeah. That was a super important moment for us. In fact, that was probably one of the first things I ever heard when I started working there.
Yeah.
Years before it came out, that is. I think it was kind of they'd done the record. It was cut with a different singer who had written it, And yeah, one of the first things we were doing was trying to find a new vocalist for that before we ended up with AME. That took a long time actually, and she completely smashed it. But yeah, what was the question? Was it like
no? I was just saying that you've been releasing very unexpected stuff in between. You
yeah,
know,
I mean,
so
I don't know the reason for that
in a good
really.
way, in a good way, you know, in a good way,
Yeah, but
because
we're just following, like, we're not following trends. It's just like it's Axe's instinct, and like, you know, we started off super housey, and kind of I guess at one point we were signing and releasing records that worked for SHM sets. Like that was super important to us, and there was a kind of blueprint to a successful release for us, and it was based around Beatport. It was based around live content of the Swedes playing it, and we kind of evolved from there, really, like signing different kinds of stuff. And it's just Axe's like natural interest in music, and mine as well, is that like we're not as simple as like, you know, maybe like a 2012 progressive sound or a 2005 sulfuric sound. Like it's not as simple as that. Like, you know, everyone likes different stuff, and we're such a small team, and you know, Axe is one person. It's like, you know, our taste is broad, and like, you know, it covers a lot of stuff, and that's exciting because, you know, we don't want to just, like I said, there was a blueprint to the records we were working.
yeah,
And like, I'm not going to say it would have got boring, or it is boring or anything like that, but it's like you have to challenge yourself and do new stuff. And the whole world is changing constantly. So like, if you're not kind of doing that, then I don't know what you're doing. You need to challenge yourself, do new stuff, and people's tastes change. I know there's a lot of people online who would kind of like scream for the same thing over and over again. You know, a particular year or a particular style of music, people want that over and over again, but it's just not natural for anyone to do like the same thing over and over again, especially something creative. I don't think like you can't expect yourself to just be like, right, I made one good progressive house, one good EDM, one good big room track, whatever. I'm just going to use that template forever. Of course, there's something in sticking to your sound and like building that loyalty and doing what you're good at, but like you can't just, you know, don't pick that hill to die on. Like you have to be creative, you have to challenge yourself, you have to evolve and try new things. Otherwise, it's going to get boring for you as well. But yeah,
and that's the thing. You know, the funny thing is that that's exactly what Dragan said, what Dirty South said in the last chat. You know, he said you have to stay original, don't get lost in the flavor of the month. You know, that's how he called it. Just like that was stuck in my head, and that is like an absolute golden rule. You know, you have to follow your path, and that's what you're doing as well, and that's why it's working, because in the end it will work out if you are just, you know, not following the mainstream road, you know, because then you can be a little bit more revolutionary. You can combine stuff. I mean, I've done stuff like that as well, you know, and that's, I mean, the importance is, if you hear a record from an artist, there should be some sort of signature in there. And that's really, really hard to find. That's really hard to find for an artist to have like an element in there. Back then, like, let's say 7-8 years ago, you were able to hear you knew when Fede Legrand released a track, you knew that must be Fede. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like back
absolutely.
in the days when he, you know, then there was his signature sound right away. Or other artists. I mean, AXTONE as well. Exwell as well.
Yeah, we've had signature sounds, like, of course, like
100%.
Define the label. I mean, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? 2012 progressive house or progressive house. It means something different to everyone, but to our fans, it means one kind of sound.
And also, era. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, what you also said, that people say, we want that sound back that you've been doing in 2012. You know, so and I mean, of course, everybody wants that back, because that was like the AXTONE signature sound, melodic, Tokyo by Night, and all that kind of stuff, you know. So there's been like records. So everybody would love that back, but I mean, this is the stuff that you've done in the past, you know, and this is you can't.
What I would say, right? What I'd say to people who want it is maybe like those songs, that sound, those SHM gigs defined a point in people's like coming of age. Do you know what I mean? It was like the EDM explosion. People were growing up, and you know, they're going through that age where like, you know, the music you're listening to then kind of defines the rest of your life. It's an important stage, and people connect to those songs like really, really strongly in a really strong way. I mean, you know, you look at the lyrics in some of those records. I mean, I'm just going to be lazy and use "Don't You Worry, Child" as an example, but they're quite powerful. Do you know what I mean? They're emotional, they're emotive, and they would have got people through hard times. And you know,
Yes,
I understand why people
100%.
connect with them so much. And like I said, they're emotional. It's melodic. It's, you know, there's a lot going on, and I totally get it. But it's like, you know, just like people do, you know, music kind of moves on and develops, and you know, we find new ways to express that emotion.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would just, yeah, just challenge yourself, and you know, there's a whole new generation of people growing up, and they're defining their, you know, their like pivotal moments or their coming of age moments with different music and a different sound, and you can't ignore that. So yeah, and the other thing I'd say to the people who love that music is there's so many people making good music in that genre. Like there's so many people making good progressive house in that sound. So like I don't think those fans aren't serviced. I think there's loads of people that are doing it. I think there's like, and there's amazing music that's coming out with it as well. I mean, you still have like, you know, third party are leading that scene in a really good way. They're doing big records and they sound great, and they obviously were touring, but they're still releasing. And I just think that like people kind of call for it from us a lot, but I just think that you know, there's still that music out there, and they can get that if they want. And I, you know, I mean, we'd actually just released the like a progressive-y kind of song with our latest release on Losing Focus. That's there. It was called the Festival Mix, but it's not anymore on that release, and it came out on Friday, which is 3 days ago. So maybe I'm just chatting shit because we're still doing it, but but it's just not.
Yeah, but what I think is that people want that stuff back, or are aching to have that sound back, is because every single release was timeless. That's the thing, you know. I think you've created releases that have been absolutely timeless, and that these are tracks that people will still listen to in 10 years. Like me, for example, like the tracks that
I mean, you made some of them, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I made some of these. Yeah, that's. I mean, other side, of course. I still, you know, I've heard it like a million times, for example,
Oh
but it
man, it's
still gives me
amazing
creeps.
record. Oh man,
It still gives me creeps. But these are records that I will play in my sets for a lifetime. You know, the same with "Live Your Life," for example. These are
oh man,
tracks
what a
that
record!
I'm never tired of playing these records, and that is the sign that something special is in there, you know. And that's
Yeah,
and that
absolutely.
I feel this is missing a little bit nowadays. The music that comes out is, it's okay, it's good, but it's not connecting so
Yeah,
much long term, you know what I mean?
I would challenge you on that and say that like people say that there was a period where we couldn't release any bad records. There were bad records, you just don't remember the bad records. That's the other thing.
That's
You know what I
what it
mean?
is. That's,
So
yeah,
like
yeah, of
it's like
course.
everyone's like, oh yeah, but in that time you only released good stuff. It's like, no, we didn't. We released lots of stuff, but like some stuff really worked and you only remember that
Let's
one.
Yeah,
So it's
let's
like
say the balance was
exactly,
good,
exactly.
bad, you
But then
know.
I would say as well, just on like now, I would say yes, there are more shite records. I totally get that. There's so much crap out there, more than
Shite
ever.
records, shite records. That's a
Yeah, like
typical
shit. You
English
know,
thing.
it's
I know,
but
I know.
what I would say is that there are good records still coming out, really important records
Yeah,
that are going to mean something to people in 10 years. It's just maybe they're a bit harder to find, or you know, it's difficult. I don't know. They're there.
do
You just have to find them and you have to dig. And like I said, in 10 years' time, there might be people who look back at labels and they're like, oh, you know, you never released anything bad, and they'll be like, fuck me, I could name like 10 records right now that, you know, didn't stand the test of time. But that's just like being part of a label. Do you know what I mean? You make
yeah,
mistakes
of
just like
course.
anyone does. It's not an exact science, and it never will be.
Yeah, that's true. But do you think it's also because of the generation that is there right now? Because I mean, in 2012, where everybody loved that sound, the progressive stuff that we've been doing, I think that was also another generation, and now there's like a newer generation. You can tell, you know, that's why there's this circle of music always coming back to that spot, to the music that has been there already like 5 years ago. You know, for example, with that house vibe. You know, how often did we see that circle already? I started with that stuff.
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
was
yeah, of
14.
course.
When I was 14, so that was in 93.
Fucking hell.
No, I was 92. 92. I grew
92,
up
that was
with
the year I was born, so there you go. We can
oh,
some
sexy.
context for you there.
Yeah, that's a good year. So I started in 92 and the music I grew up with was Mike Dunn, Mood to Swing, Armand van Helden, DJ Sneak, George Morello and all these guys,
Oh
you
my
know?
God, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that is like really, really, and that was still undergroundish, you know?
Yeah,
And it
fucking
was
hell.
really hard to find this kind of stuff. But I mean, this is just like electronic music is taking over the world, you know, and that's how it is. And um yeah, just got carried away now with my little
I
story
know we've just been
from
chatting
back.
shit and not saying
Yeah,
anything interesting for ages,
yeah.
but
Well,
yeah.
I mean, we are always talking interesting stuff. For us, it might not sound interesting, but I think for all the people who are out there, it's like gold to listen to, you know, because
Yeah.
we've been in the scene for such a long time and experienced so many things that we get used to it, right?
Yeah.
So and probably for guys watching us right now, it's probably they soak it in like a sponge, you know?
I mean,
Yeah, man.
to all those
Tell
people,
us
I'd say
something.
if you have to make shit records to make good ones, though. Do you know what I mean? Though you have to
I
like
made
get out
shit
of the
records.
system.
I
Yeah,
make shit
I know you did.
records.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
But you made some absolute hits as well. Like when did Live Your Life come out? That was like, that like changed the game, right? I mean, I'm not like trying to overhype that. It literally was a mega hit. It was huge, right?
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. It was no,
Yeah, yeah,
it was the right record to the right time, and you have to find that lucky punch.
yeah,
You know, and
exactly.
and it was not anything we've been working at. You know, the funny okay, I'll tell you a little story how the whole thing came to life with Eric. So Eric was always we're talking about Eric Morello right here. So
Yeah,
for
yeah,
everybody, so I've been a big admirer of him, like from the DJ skills and from the sound he was playing. It was just incredible the energy that that man had. And the first time I saw him, I think it was in 1998 in a club where I played as well. So I mean, it's when that person arrives, he's like a god to you. Like for the
yeah.
people, it's incredible. You get goosebumps just when he arrives into the booth, you know. So and then he stops the music completely and starts completely from scratch, builds it all up, and that's just hell breaks loose when he starts. You know, when he started, So
And where was
anyway,
that? Where
so
was that? Which club?
I think it was in Essen. In Essen, it's in one of my hometowns where he played. It was in a club. It was called Decadence Penthouse Club, which is just on the 26th floor of a big
That
bureau
sounds
office
very
building.
bougie.
Yeah.
Very
So
bougie.
and anyway, so we got in touch somehow. I talked to the tour manager, got in touch with him, and there were no such things as send me a Dropbox link, send me a WeTransfer link, and all that kind of
Yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Impossible, you know? And send me an
DM me,
email with
DM me
this.
on Instagram.
DM
Yeah,
me, exactly. So people, you have to know that it's been an absolute different story. So back then I had it was all about CDs. You know, first there were records and then they started at that time they all started with CDJs. You know, there's just CDJ 100 and 200. They came up at some point. You know, but we had like the record bags turned into CD wallets, and the CD wallets, my CD wallet is just like like a painting. You know what I mean? Every single CD that I had was a printable CD. I printed a cover. I made a cover for myself on it with the songs that I wanted on that CD. You know what I mean? So, and the full book, it were 200 CDs just with artworks and with stuff. So it was really like an art gallery kind of thing. But the great thing is you had something physical in your hand,
yeah.
you
So it's
know?
like like a collector's item for you, really. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And so I prepared a CD because I knew that next week Eric Murillo will be there again, and I'll be there and give him some CDs. So I printed out CDs and made the most amazing artworks and stuff. Put it into put my business card in there and gave it to him. And you were nearly not able to get in touch with him because everything around him was shut down. You know?
yeah, yeah.
So it
Proper
was
one of
just
the
this
first
tour.
superstar DJs, right?
Oh my God, you can't imagine. But then all of a sudden, a week later, I got a phone call. Hey, this is Eric Morello. And I was like, you know,
Oh my god.
the fan, yeah, starstruck. But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
somehow we started working together. He said, "I love your sound. Let's do something together." And then I started actually. I wasn't without any pressure. I just started something. So this was a couple of years into the land, you know.
Yeah.
So
Crazy, man.
a couple of years later, so and in 2009 we really started to work together. I did the basis of the instrumental of Live Your Life and then sent it to him. And then he said, Eddie, listen to this. And he was in the studio with Shawnee Taylor, and I could hear the Live Your Life, Be
Another
Free,
legend.
you can have it all. I was like, oh my God. And I was in Australia at that time. So here's not the little story, that story that took 5 minutes, but that I just I just wanted
We're
to
here
say that,
for. That's what we're here
yeah,
for.
yeah. But I mean, this is the story, how it all started, and I just wanted to let you guys know this is just boldness brings you one step further sometimes. So you have to have the balls to attend people that you're probably starstruck from, and somehow you make your way through it, which worked for me several times. Same with David Guetta, with Bob Sinclair, and all this happens. It happened by accident. All this kind of stuff,
But it's
you
not by
know.
accident, is it? It is by design. I mean, I know that like they feel like chance moments, but the point is that like you showed up, you made sure you were in the room, and
That's
that's like
it.
so important. And I know it's
Yeah,
like it's probably like an impossible thing to say to people now is like
yeah.
show up because you can't go to the gigs. But if you're not fucking at the club handing a USB to people or trying to chat to people, or if you're not in that environment, like it's gonna be fucking tough. I mean, one of the things that I was doing, like especially while I was at AXTONE, I'm not doing anymore obviously, but I was working at Ministry of Sound as artist liaison. Like while
Okay.
at AXTONE, I was meeting people like every fucking night, like
Yeah.
DJs, people, talking to them about AXTONE, about what's coming up,
That's
what's going
gold.
on.
That's gold. That's
I
gold.
was there. I was in the room with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's so important. It's like showing up, being present. And like I said, if you hadn't gone to that club and had the balls to just hand over something to Eric Murillo, you would have never made that record. Which
Exactly.
I'm not going to hype it up too much. I'm not going to say it changed dance music, but maybe it did. But it was fucking huge, and it had a massive impact, and that's so important. And like you can
It
kind
is.
of
It
like
is.
you can kind of like find these key moments in your career, which are just like 30-second like snippets. Do you know what I mean? And that's fucking crazy. But yeah, I'd always say that to anyone. It's like show up, be there, be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
On a simple level, you could just say show up at ADE. Everyone's fucking there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what we're preaching all the time.
You'll
Go
see,
to
you'll
the
see
events.
me,
Yeah.
you'll see you. We're walking around. Do you know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
come up to us and be like, "Hey, like,
No, don't worry about it. Come to us and try to talk to us. We'll just ignore you.
yeah, exactly." No, but no one's gonna tell you to fuck off either. No one's horrible. I mean, there's probably like a
No,
couple of horrible
that's
people
it.
out there.
I
But
mean, yeah, I mean that's what I'm always saying as well. The people are going there for a reason. They are going there to connect. Also, the bigger artists, they are going there. Some of them are going there because they want to do the show off thing, But most of the people are there
what
because
show
they
off
want to
thing? What's
connect. Just to show how cool they are and that they are the big players. So some people do that.
that? Okay.
Like well, there I have to say that I've met so many people there, and how long have we been going to ADE and no Miami? Come on. I mean, I still remember when everything was just in the National Hotel in Miami,
Oh
South
yeah,
Beach.
yeah, yeah. Of course.
So there was Winter Music Conference was not a all over Miami thing. It was just we're just in one hotel thing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It was just in the National Hotel where everybody was. All the important people have been in one hotel, and that is where the magic happens in places like these. But somehow I stopped at some point. I stopped going to Miami because it's I was lost when I go to Miami. So where's the party? Where are the meetings? There are no meetings anymore.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
well, they
definitely
make
mean
all their
that.
parties here and there and stuff. So there's not really one home base of Winter Music Conference anymore.
Yeah, Miami's definitely a more tricky one. Like AD is like so
Yeah,
concentrated.
yeah, yeah. It's so
You can
focused
walk
on one
between
spot.
walk between two of the places, and you'll bump into everyone in the fucking industry, or everyone in the dance music industry.
Yeah.
But Miami is definitely like, yeah, if you want to be there, like you've got to be on the list, or you've got to have tickets, and then it's like you have to stump up loads of money. And then like, or if you're on the list, you're probably going to get to the door, and it's going to be like, oh, you're actually not on the list, and you got to call the fucker who's organizing it, but they're already in there trying to organize the party, so you're fucked. Like, it's a nightmare. I mean, it's really good fun. And I think it's more of a fan thing. I think that's how I kind of see it. I think if you're a fan of the music, it's probably the expensive way to see all those artists, but it's a way to see those artists in the same place at the same time. But it's really good fun. But I mean, you just don't get much business done there. I mean, I think it's a tough recommendation if you're a
look, your friend is your friend from AXTONE is here.
Nay.
Simon, my friend.
Shout out, Man Like Skills.
Shout out.
Hills.
Yeah. Well, I mean, zero work. Exactly, Simon. We haven't done. This is just like partying and connecting and stuff like that. So there's not a lot of stuff happening. Like, you don't make the plans for a lifetime in Miami.
Yeah,
you know?
I think so. I mean, unless you've got fucking mad money and you can afford to like buy tables behind the booths or something, but that's just stupid advice. But yeah, Miami's fun. Like, and I think if you're organizing events, then obviously you have to be there. That's super important. Or if you have artists playing at Ultra or whatever, like, be there, because, you know, going back to the other bit of advice, show up, be there, and shit will happen. But yeah, otherwise, if you're kind of starting off, it's not that I wouldn't recommend it. It's just it's really, really expensive, and AD is you can kind of slum it there if you need to. So yeah. That would be more budget friendly advice, I think.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, for me, it's a 2-hour drive. So then I'm in Amsterdam, which is great. So can you see how many props Simon gets here at the moment? Everybody saying, "Hey, Simon! Hey, Simon! Oh, Simon is in the house." You know what I mean? So, but I wanted to say, whenever you're in Miami and you see a naked guy running on Ocean Drive, that's it. That's it.
I've never done that in my life.
I've never done that in my life. I mean, there's no, I was just joking, but I mean, it's always fun, and if you're there with the right people, then it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, if you can get a bit of a crew together, maybe you can join it with the DJs playing some parties. That would be good.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll have a good time. I can't deny you'll have a good time, but you might not get much work done. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Listen, Ed. Back to business now, and I wanted to ask you, can you explain a little bit what you are doing as an A&R exactly, for the people who have no idea about what it means and what kind of work you do as an A&R.
I guess an A&R is someone who's kind of responsible for finding music or facilitating people making new music, or helping people develop music, signing music. You're just kind of like the person who's involved in the music side. You know, the person responsible for kind of putting your money on an artist or a record and saying, this one's going to be the one. But I mean, my job is a bit different, I guess. You know, I work at a DJ fronted label. Axe is obviously like, you know, the man in terms of the music, and it's my job to kind of feed him new stuff, or, you know, find new people that I'm excited about, or like find songs. I think that's something I find myself doing a lot these days as well, is like finding good songs and then pairing those songs and vocals up with good producers. That's something I'm doing as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, just kind of like trying to create a vision, create a series of music that all works together, and it's all kind of and is successful as well. And it comes from, you know, finding the right song, the right vocal, to making sure the mix is right, to making sure the master's right, and all those kinds of things. Sorting out the splits as well. And it can be a really short process. It can be someone just drops like an amazing like finished master in your inbox, and you're like, this is amazing, let's go. To a publisher comes to me with a new singer they're trying to break, and they're like, you know, I've got this song and I could really hear it working with, you know, this artist who released on AXTONE, and I'll connect those people, help them, you know, guide them through, help them give them references, give them advice. And I can see in the chat there's Eden as well chatting about his collaboration that we released with Camel Fat, Siren Song, which was a great record for us. Big up that one.
Hey, Eden.
Yeah, but I mean, it can be lots of things, but it mostly is to do with the music, and you know, the music comes through so many different ways, and it's always different. It's never the same. It can come through the demos. There's people who sign through the demos and just finding stuff. And there's people that, you know, trusted people that we've known for years and years, like yourself, actually. How many records have we done together? 3?
I think it's just 3, yeah.
Fuego,
But it was 3 records, 3 years.
yeah,
You know?
exactly. But like,
we could no, you know why? Because it took me 1 year to finish each record.
yeah.
To satisfy you guys, which
Yeah.
is your level of quality is like, honestly guys, if you can make it on an AXTONE release, then your music quality must be quite high, you know. So you've done a very well job.
Fuego was quick.
I mean, yeah,
right?
Fuego was a super easy thing. It took me 1 day to do the whole thing, send it to X, and I never thought about that AXTONE would sign that, but X said, I absolutely love it, let's do it.
Yeah.
So, and it was just like, the only thing that took a little bit longer was the clearance of the flute and that's it.
Yeah, that's obviously a big element of it.
But you know, like, Other Side was quick as well. Other Side was
it?
Yeah. No, I mean, I mean, not because of the quality of the production, but just because we couldn't find the right vocal for it, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then we sent the rough idea without a vocal to X, and X said, yeah, well, it's all right. So we binned it for now. And then all of a sudden, I got in touch with a friend of mine who has a songwriter friend. So both are top liners, and I sent him this track. I said, I still have this one lying around. Give it a shot. And then we started writing on it. And then we finished it together with Tom Starr. And then sent it to X. And he said, I absolutely love it. Let's do it. Boom. Yeah. Next month it was out. You know? But Solar, man, that was a nightmare to finish. But that's because my musical skills haven't been at the point where they needed to be.
Yeah, I feel like there are certain records though where it's like, maybe there's a lot of layers in them. Like Fuego's, it's quite an instant, simple song, right? Like there's not.
Yeah.
I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but it's an instant moment, and it's like, does that flute sample hit you instantly and nice and clean? Yes. Whether it's like Other Side would be like, hey, there's loads of layers, thick layers. They're all fighting the vocal. The vocal's got like 3 harmonies going on. We want a big kick in there as well. Everything's all playing at the same time and not dipping in and out. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a different kind of.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the stuff with house stuff. House stuff needs to be dirty and punchy, and it can be nasty, you know, sound wise, because it just has. It's all about the drums and the bass line there, you know, and perhaps the vocal hook or another instrumental hook, but it's not about like putting tons of layers here and then up there, a synth here, and then 3, like you said, 3 vocal layers here on top, and then everything super strong. And that's not what it's about with the house stuff, you know. Yeah, so you don't agree completely, I can tell on your face.
No, I do. I'm just thinking about Fuego. It's like you would argue that that's kind of like touching on a kind of tech house sound, right? Like it's much simple. Like it's, can you play it? Will it work in a sweaty dark club? And you know, Other Side is not that kind of. It's like an end of the night kind of thing. Maybe it's a kind of it's just more emotive, I guess. And that's not unfair to say. That's Fuego's like, yeah, this is sick. I want to kind of like, this is going to make you move. Other Side is like, it's trying to make you cry. Do you know what I mean? This is different.
Yeah. Did you cry?
Intention. Many times, more times than I'd like to admit. But
really,
no, I'm joking.
but yeah. You know, the funny thing is, because I've, you know, with one eye, I'm keeping one eye on the questions and the comments that are rolling in. So I actually got a question from a guy called I Am Reinhold. So I'm going to read you the question because I think it fits in here pretty well. Do you choose an artist by their potential, or is 100% by how good their music sounds at that current time?
It's totally different every time. I can give you an example of artists in both kind of lane. One of the people that one of the people we signed called Klar, that's someone we heard potential, and it took a long time to, I say a long time, I guess in today's terms it was a long time to get his first records right. What we could hear was like creative use of sampling and emotional melodies and lots of like good raw elements that weren't quite there yet. And that's the one that we signed because we heard potential. And I think we were kind of vindicated in that. But I mean, if you hear someone who's made really great stuff, the mixes are on point, it's going to bang in the club straight away. It's already making you move, people are already playing it, then fucking great. But like, to be honest, it's both have their merit and their value, and we're looking for both of those things always. It's super important. You know, of course, if you come to us with a finished product, you're going to have a release sooner. Do you know what I mean? But like, if there's
that's true.
And it's hard to like sign people to develop, of course, because you know you can easily back the wrong horse or blah blah. That's like part of the risk of A&R. That's fine. Or someone can get stuck, and people do, and that's natural. And I don't know. It's both. There's no formula, but if you're doing something which like captures our imaginations or our interest or whatever, then that's amazing. So we've heard rough stuff where we've been like, you know, we'll get stuff in, we'll be like, this is going to need like a stem mix. We're going to need to get this to a really good mix engineer, and there's stuff where it's like, this is just ready to go straight to fucking Spotify or Beatport or to the DJs because it sounds so good already. And we will facilitate that last piece of the process, I guess, you know, that mix, that master, or sometimes we'll hear ideas and we're like, you know, that needs some more development. You should work with this artist. And that's my job, is to kind of find people that can help complement that process or complement other people. I don't know if I've answered the question. Both are super important. If you can finish records off, fucking fantastic. But
if you can't, and if you can't, you know who to call.
Exactly. There's companies for that, I think. I wouldn't be so sure though.
Yeah, I mean, you can always get in touch with us, for example.
Exactly,
because that's what we're here for, you know. So we just.
And I would say I'd really recommend someone to one of my biggest pieces of advice, especially when doing fucking dance music, because you're just sitting on your own in a room listening to the same beat over and over again. It can be really boring, monotonous, and it can kill your creativity. Like, one of the best things you can do is get something off your plate. Like, give it to someone else. Like, there's so many people out there trying to do the same thing. They might be really good at mixing like kick and bass, and you're just really good at writing melodies. Like, seek out those people. There are communities online. I mean, Refine is a community for that kind of stuff as well, right? Seek out places where you can collaborate. Like, I think that's the best way to get better, is to collaborate.
Okay, I'm just going to comment something really quick. Yeah, okay. So okay, go ahead. I'm just typing now.
Yeah, no worries. Like, I was just going to say, and like, you know, people like yourself, you're there to help people, and that's really important. I think, you know, as I think Dragon said, I saw that he said, you know, it's amazing that there's a service like that you provide. I wish that was there when I was making music. Like, you're there, use that. Do you know what I mean? Or find other people that can help you do stuff. They're all out there. You know what I mean? There's hundreds and there's thousands possibly of bedroom producers trying to do the same thing, who are better at some stuff than you are, and they're worse at some stuff than you are.
Yeah,
find those people. True. Collaborate. And you know, just ask for help. Oh, there you go. I see you're putting the website in.
Yeah, this is like this is not for self promotion. This is just because we've launched something a couple of weeks back, which is doing exactly what you've been just talking about. You know, it's not just something for me to get you as a client. It's for you to have a base, which is called the Refine Network, and the Refine Network is all about connecting yourself with each other. Perhaps you're really good in melodies, the other one is really good in drums and making beats, and someone probably is really good at connected to music, to vocalists or something. So if you go on the website, there's a link, it says the Refine Network. This is actually the page where you just log in, and then you can connect with each other. It's still in baby shoes, the whole thing, but you'll get the idea when you land on it. And we have one thing, which is the network where you can connect with each other. And then we have um, one one chat room which is called the mentors, and there are going to be like people like me, Will K, Dennis, perhaps Ed as well at some point, which are the mentors. So you can just ask us questions and we'll answer them from time to time. We won't be there the whole week, but we'll see that you message us and we can give you advice as well. I mean, for me, I have 15 minutes every day to read this kind of stuff and reply and give an advice. And I think this is a good place um, to connect and get some advice from people who have seen it all, and are in this business. And that's what the forum is for.
Yeah, absolutely. It's there, and use those communities. They're invaluable, and they weren't there once upon a time. They weren't there, so like make the most of it. Don't let yourself get stuck, and don't fill up that hard drive graveyard, whatever they call it, where you've got just infinite amounts of production just rotting away. There's good stuff in there.
Yeah, and there's actually people who are never satisfied with their music at some point. They said they have amazing potential. They make amazing tracks, but they are afraid of sending them out because they think, it's not good enough.
I understand that. There's definitely a lot of that, but they just got to.
Yeah, and they don't want to ruin it, because a lot of people think, if I'm going to send that track to Ed now and he doesn't like it, he probably won't listen to the second demo that I'm sending. That's how a lot. Yeah, it's not true, but that's what a lot of people are thinking.
Maybe, but if there's something good in the first demo that I like, then I'll definitely.
Yeah,
the second one.
but if there's nothing good in there, where you say, nah, this is not for us,
then I would say that you're probably not getting enough like outside opinions before it comes to me. I think you need to soundboard off people as well. Like again, go to these.
You need references.
And you might be in a weird room or with some not very good speakers. And as soon as one person who is in a treated room with good speakers, they were like, mate, there is nothing below 100 hertz, or you've absolutely fucked it at 5K. There's a cowbell which is like piercing my ears. Like, you will miss stuff like that. Like, use these places, make the most of them.
Yeah.
And send stuff everywhere. Like, before it goes to an A&R, if you really believe in it, send it to like 50 people. Don't send it just to like your mom or your best mate, because it's gonna be like, this is sick, mate. Everyone,
it's
sick, they don't know what to say. They don't know what to say.
The good thing is that Seamus Haji, from Defected, we had him on the chat as well, and he said the one really important rule: and Simon said that as well, do a little bit of homework. Look exactly who the person is you're sending the music to, who the A&R is. Find out who that person is. Find out what kind of music the label does, because it makes no sense sending a banging techno record to Defected, because that's not their genre. You know what I mean? So do a little bit of homework, do a little bit of background check, and try to find out the email addresses and the names of the people. And I mean, if I would be an A&R and people would send me a generated email with a blind copy and just saying, hey guys, or hey there, it's very unlikely that you'll open the email.
If when I won't listen to the track.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, of course. If you can see this is a mass email, people won't listen to it. So don't do that.
Yeah, if you don't give a fuck about sending it to me, why would I care about receiving it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're just like, well, I'll say it's 50 labels, maybe one of them will take it. It just tells me that you haven't really crafted that record. There's nothing really exciting going on. It's someone who's just playing the numbers game. And even if people are playing the numbers game, they don't want to feel like they are, right? So you don't want to be like, oh, I'm one of 50 labels that got this. Like, I don't know. That's really simple advice. And I think that I think that's quite easy. That's surely the easiest bit of advice ever, is like, you know, don't spam it to the world. Send it to lots of people. Think about who you're going to send it to. Sending it to 5 labels at the same time, maybe that's still a lot, but I mean, understand that people take a long time to get back, so you need to move on. And you know, the kind of anxiety that you'll have, you know, you send a record to a label and it's like your baby that you've worked on for like months and months on end, and you know, you've really worked hard on it. Maybe you spent some money getting it mastered. The minute you send it to the label, you're going to have this anxiety, like fuck, they like it, like
Yeah, of course.
You're gonna be nervous. And I totally understand that. And you know, it might go into someone's spam and they don't know, but you're sitting at home for weeks on end like, oh my god.
Yeah, but what should they do if they send it there and they're super excited about it because they put their heart and their everything into the music that they produce, and they want to get a record signed? They say to themselves, if I get that record signed, man, I'm spending my whole city champagne shower, you know. So yeah, but that's how they feel about their music, you know. They're so passionate about it that they can't wait to get it out there, and then they send the music to the one label that they want to be a part of, and then you wait a week, you don't get a reply, and then you wait
that's
2
just the
weeks, you
game.
don't get, you get no reply. What should they do? Should they send a reminder email, a catch-up email, a nice catch-up email, or what should they do?
If someone sent me an email after a week having sent it, and they were like, hey, just following up here, that's totally fine. Like, that's not a dick. No one's going to be like, fuck off, what the hell are you doing? Are they?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But sometimes what I'd say is that often with a lot of people, I don't know, I can't remember what the phrase is exactly in the music industry, but it's like a yes is instant and a no never comes. Do you know what I mean? So you have to be prepared to kind of move on or send it to other people. And that's an important lesson to learn. I think it's the same in all kind of creative industries. Like, if I hear something I want to sign, I'm probably going to get back to that person straight away because I can't wait to give them that good news. Do you know what I mean? That's me. I want to give that good news to someone because it's exciting and it's good for me as well. Like, saying no to people all day is really hard.
I know, but do you say no at least?
Yeah, I say no a lot. I mean, you'll probably get like the exact same no you got last time. I mean, my no's, I always write them out individually because I feel like if I start copying and pasting them, then I should just give up and that would be unfair. But it always go along the lines of something like, and I'll only reply if I actually like it as well. I'll only reply if I'm like, that was good and I want to hear more from you, but this isn't the one. Or this isn't, you know, this is the right vibe, but not this record. Or, you know, you're moving in the right direction, or the mix is great on this track, but I didn't like this. Like, I will say something like that, and I'll try to always give a bit of advice. But stuff falls through the cracks, and like, you know, if you've got a Google Mail inbox, then you know that more than anyone. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like stuff goes into junk, you miss stuff.
Yeah.
You have a particularly busy morning, and you know, you get like 1,000 promos, and there's a demo in the middle somewhere, and you missed it. Like,
okay,
it happens.
So yeah. So here's another good tip for people who want to send out your new track. You finished your track on Thursday evening and you said, fuck yeah, I finished this track. Tomorrow evening I'm going to send that track to AXTONE. You have to keep in mind the email box normally doesn't get checked until Monday. So, and you know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is, if you want to get on top of the email list when that A&R person comes to the office and opens the email, you don't want to be on the 150th point, you know? So I think I mean, that always works for me. I didn't send it on Friday night, I didn't send it on the weekend, and I don't send it on Monday. I send it on a Tuesday morning. That always did the trick for me, which was at the beginning. You know? So, and that mostly worked out because you're just like on the top. That's just one thing that could make a difference, you know? There's so many things that you can do. Just put yourself into the shoe of the A&R. Remember, that person gets like hundreds and hundreds of email every week.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, another bit of advice here, I think, kind of,
go ahead. That's important. That's what people need to know.
Like, going in cold is like, it's one of the toughest things you can do. Sometimes there's no other option. Fine, you got to do it. You just got to get that record to the right person. But like, I bet Simon's probably said this because we say this a lot. But if you can find a trusted source, if you can find maybe a smaller producer who's released on AXTONE, maybe like email them first and be like, yo, I really love your stuff. I love the record you did on AXTONE. I want to send them a record, but I wanted to just bounce it off you first, or, you know, find other ways in. There's always other routes. It's not just me and that, like, my email is the magical gate and that's the only way you can get something signed. You know, use the community, find people like, you know, like I said, smaller artists you released on AXTONE, hit them up. Maybe there's management companies that like manage those artists. You know, try and find people like that are going to be trusted sources to me. Like if you sent me a record, Eddie, and you're like, this kid's hit me up from Refine and his music sounds pretty dope. You need to listen to this. I'm going to fucking listen to that. And I'm not only am I going to listen to it, I'm going to listen to like at least, you know, 3 minutes of it. I'm going to give it a real good shot and like, you know, listen to the full break, see what's going on. Like that's another really good way of getting to the right people, I think.
Yes. I think this is golden. You know, this advice is super important, and this is also what I'm always trying to say. If you're sitting in front of your computer, you're doing everything yourself, and you at some point get like a box view, I call it. You know, I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, so try to think outside the box. If it doesn't work that way, try other ways around it. You know, and there's so many ways. Exactly like Ed said, try to work around the whole thing. Try to get connected to people that have those contacts. Try to connect with people that have those skills, and try to connect with people that already made the step that you want to make. I think that's super important. And yeah, just connecting and networking is everything in this business.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a well-trodden path. Other people have been down it, and you know, reach out for help.
Well, what better thing can you do than reach out to people and tap into the mind of a person that has already done it? You know?
Exactly. So and maybe they'll tell you, they'll be like, yo, this is not the record to send to AXTONE.
Yeah.
Haven't you used your AXTONE token up or something? Do you know what I mean?
So honestly, and honestly, I can tell that I've had a lot of clients on Refine already, and not only clients but also people. I'm happy to help other people as well that just want an opinion. You know, that's what we do as well, because I mean, this is a heartfelt service that we offer. It's like a company that I'm doing with my heart. So always happy to help. And when people send me stuff, you can count that I'm absolutely bloody honest with everything. So there, and because it doesn't bring you one step closer to your goal if I'm not telling the truth, you know. So I mean, you just need to and I'm doing it in a polite way, of course, not very rude, but I'm just telling you, hey, this is not it. You have to work on this and this and that, and try to figure it out in another direction, or try to work on that. And I think that is worth way more than people that just say, yeah, you've done very well, but I can't send it, you know.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, sometimes you get records in and you're like, there's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's just it doesn't do anything to me. Like I don't get goosebumps. I don't feel anything. I don't want to dance. Like I'm just, and you know, people kind of say like, oh, but if I just did this or I just did that, and often it's just like, look, you just need to start a new project and try something new and keep going, because you know, practice always makes perfect. The more you write, the more you produce, the more you mix, the more you master, the more you do these things, the more you contact people and talk to people, the better you'll get at it. So keep doing it. Show up every time. And yeah, I guess that's kind of what we've been getting at with everything.
And I mean, 100%. I think this is a great way to finish our chat, because like we have 1 minute left and then the chat is over, Ed. And then we are going, oh my God, we could talk for hours and hours.
Easy.
And I actually also got goosebumps this morning when I thought about chatting with you tonight.
Goosebumps. Wow,
I had goosebumps. I woke up this morning. I said, "Oh God!" And tonight I'm going to talk to Ed on AXTONE, and I'm going to give some important insights for people to, I
Nah,
mean,
big
this
up, man.
kind
I
of stuff.
appreciate that.
I mean, this stuff that we're doing right here, this is so important. I mean, for us, it's just like everyday stuff, but I can tell from the comments that we had below that the people are just, yeah, they loved it.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. I hope there's some good nuggets of advice. I didn't prepare anything.
it is.
So
It
yeah,
is.
just been chatting shit for a while.
But honestly, 1 second. We are online now since 1 hour, and the chat didn't cut off, which is weird, But it doesn't matter. Well, anyway, Ed, thank you so much for taking the time and giving some insights for all the people, and I really, really appreciate it, and I also think the people do as well. So,
oh man, thank you for having me, and big up yourself.
Of course.
Absolutely.
So,
It's been really fun.
Yeah, it is. And now I'm going to check again if Facebook and YouTube stuff, if that live stream worked as well. So, but guys, everyone can rewatch the whole episode on IGTV here on Refine Productions. So, and Ed, I'll say goodbye to you right now. And yeah, and Auf Wiedersehen. And then we'll talk later, okay? We'll keep in touch.
Yeah, send me some good records, man. It's been a minute.
I will. There's millions coming. I've been just too busy with the company at the moment and with all the sync stuff that I'm doing at the moment. But there's little bits and pieces that I want to send you. So there's a lot of stuff coming. Okay.
I'm excited. Cool.
Yeah, me too. And take care. Bye bye.
Bless up. See you later.
Bye bye. Okay, guys. So I think this was a wonderful chat again, and we could do it for hours and hours. And the great thing is, I learned myself as well. So there's not one Music Monday where I'm not just like sucking it all up like a sponge. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight, and I hope we answered all your questions. I mean, I answered a lot of questions, and we answered a lot of questions tonight. So don't hesitate if you're stuck with your music. Don't hesitate. Jump into the Refine network. You can find it here on the refineproductions.com. Log in, get in touch with other people, get in touch with us. We are more than happy to help, and we are actually doing something absolutely amazing shortly. We are going to bring a new service to the table, and which will be really focusing, instead of let us do your work, we'll teach you how you can do all of that work. So just keep your eyes peeled. It's going to be exciting in the next couple of weeks. Okay, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Ed, again, thank you very much, and we'll talk again soon. Take care. Bye bye.